Star Wars: The Acolyte. Pretty much everyone on the internet has pointed fingers and laughed at this show on how stupid it is, including myself. In its very slight defense, there are some criticisms that are a little over the top and nitpicky, but most are very warranted. Now, in my last video reviewing the show, I said that I wouldn't watch the rest of it, but I'm a sucker for really bad movies and shows. I don't know what it is. It's like a drug. I need my next fix. And I recognize it's bad for me, but I just can't stop myself. But long story short, I watched the rest of The Acolyte. Mainly to make fun of it, but occasionally I found myself enjoying some small things like the set pieces, some of the fight scenes, as the choreography wasn't half bad compared to the Disney trilogy. But then I got to episode 8, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I got a little upset. And you may be wondering, was there something so atrocious, so egregious that it finally snapped something into me and I had to make this video? No. I wish, because then I probably would have just made fun of it, but no. Instead, I found something far worse that left me disappointed. Potential. Legitimate potential for a good show here, or at least a half-decent one. Now, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen episode 8 or The Acolyte. Do I really have to have a spoiler alert here for this show? Does anyone really care if I tell you what happens if you haven't seen it? Well, if you do, spoilers ahead. In episode 8, they finally include a character that I've been waiting for to see in a live-action movie or show, and that is Darth Plagueis. And I didn't really think they would go down this route, mainly because I thought the writers didn't give a fuck about the lore. But after this moment, it had me thinking, what if the entire show, starting from episode 1, was about Darth Plagueis' first apprentice? Him going out on his own journey to obtain more power, doing Plagueis' bidding, eventually finding his own student, and challenging his master to fulfill the rule of 2. That would have been fucking cool! You could also show the Jedi's perspective of trying to contain this unknown threat, while simultaneously exploring the subtle but existing mistrust between the Senate and the Jedi. One who attempts to expand their checks and balances, while the other self-righteously tries to protect the galaxy. And again, we saw little moments of this at the end of episode 8, which was probably my favorite episode. I love how they have one Jedi completely throw their best friend under the bus, blames everything on him to cover up their own shady actions. That's interesting, which is why I'm making this video. I almost rather have had them just spit on everything I love, because at least I could just continue making fun of them. But instead, they include these small moments at the very end of their season that makes me wish that it was just a better show. Because there's something there under all of this shit. There's something there. Like, why do I have to watch the power of 1, the power of 2, the power of many, and all this bullshit with the main plot to finally, at the very last moments, see something that's interesting that I wish they expanded on? It just frustrates me to no end that they really could have had something here. If they get rid of the twins, the witches, pretty much just the main plot, and they expand upon the little things that they fucking included at the very end, maybe then they could have had at least a half-decent show. But instead, they're saving it all for season 2, for characters that we don't care about, for a plot that we really don't care about either. And most likely we're never gonna see it because the show is gonna get canceled. And I haven't even talked about Yoda being the final scene, but I don't really give a damn. With Plagueis, it makes sense for him to be this big reveal because the Sith are always in the shadows, at least since the rule of 2, so it makes sense for him to be in the shadows as well. But with Yoda, it doesn't make any sense that we didn't see him at least once throughout this season. He's a huge character. Even with the Jedi going behind his back, not doing things by the books, it still just doesn't make much sense. But yeah, that was pretty much all I really wanted to talk about. I just think there was a lot of missed potential with the Acolyte, especially with all the little things they added towards the end for apparently no reason now, because they're probably not going to get a season 2. Or maybe they will, maybe they got enough hate views for it, but who knows. But if you enjoyed, consider liking, subscribing, and comment below what I should do next. I could do anime, shows, movies, games, whatever. But again, thank you so much for watching.